Hey guys, let's haul some books. Hi guys, my name is Trinity and today we have a book haul. So this will be all of the books that I have purchased in August and I'm very excited about quite a few of these. I do have some buy sell trade and I do have a Barnes & Noble haul for you guys. So there are some pretty fun things that I have purchased over the last month. Okay, let's start with my book of the month, which would be Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Canas. Now, Isabel Canas wrote The Hacienda, which I absolutely loved. And this says vampires and vaqueros face off in the Texas-Mexico border in this supernatural western from author of The Hacienda. All I needed to know really was Isabel Canas. And then you put vampires in it, and I'm so excited because The Hacienda is one of my favorite Gothic novels. Recent favorite Gothic novels, though, because it came out like last year, I believe, maybe the year before. But I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to read something else by Isabel Canas. This was already on my TBR even before I saw it on Book of the Month, so very excited. Okay, let's go for the buy, sell, trade haul. I found Goliath. Now, I've heard a few people talk about this. I can't really remember what the book is about, except that there is a mass exodus from Earth. That's what I remember people talking about with this book. And it's like 2050, Earth has begun to empty. Those with means and the privilege have departed the great cities of the United States for the more comfortable confines of space colonies. Yeah, but I have heard a few people talk about this. There are some people who love it and some people who hate it. With what's been said, I don't know where I'm going to land on either scale. And please don't ask me to say this author's name because I will butcher it. I just know myself well enough to know that. But I've also heard very good things about their other book, Riot Baby. So I want to get into this author's works. And like I said, I've heard great things about this book, and then I've heard awful things about this book, and I don't know who to believe. So kind of want to just go into it blind and find out for myself. Okay, and the book that is post-apocalyptic from an animal's POV. uh, so I kind of don't know much about this beyond that. And that is what has intrigued me. I've also really always wanted to read this book, but I never like grabbed it while it was full price at the bookstore. But then I found it at the buy sell trade for $1 and I was like, okay, I will give this one a try. This is finalist for the Thurber Prize. It does say funny. There are a few things that say that this book is funny, which it being from animals' POVs, I totally get that it could probably be funny, but hopefully not in a way that puts me off because, you know, humor does not always work for me. But I am hoping that with what this book is about, the humor will actually work. And on that same note, I have Unlondon by China Melville. Now, I have heard that this book is also funny. Unlondon. This is kind of like a Alice in Wonderland type of story. Not that it is derivative of Alice in Wonderland, but it's set up kind of that same way. And hearing that, I was very intrigued. This is blurbed by Holly Black, of all people. What is Unlondon? It is London through the looking glass, an urban wonderland of strange delights. Maybe this is a play on Alice in Wonderland. Where worlds are alive, a jungle lurks behind the door of an ordinary house. Carnivorous giraffes stalk the streets, and a dark cloud dreams of burning the world. When 12-year-old Zana and her friend Diva find a secret entrance leading out of London and into this strange city, it seems that the ancient prophecy is coming true at last. But then things begin to go shockingly wrong. So it sounds like it could be good. It does sound like something I might like. I do like the weirdness of Alice in Wonderland, so I'm hoping that the weird is what gets me with this book, even if the humor doesn't hit. But I do want to like funny books. I do want to like funny books so badly. I just have such a hard time with it. My dog. Excuse you, sir. Can I help you? Can I help you? What? Why are you griping at me? Why are you griping at me? Okay, pardon the break for my dog to join us. He was just whining, so I had to give him a little bit of attention. Okay, and last from the buy sell trade, I found Velvet Was the Night for $7.45, so I went ahead and picked it up. I have a love-hate relationship with Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I love it or I hate it with almost every one of her books. So I do want to give this a go. Like I said, so I've talked about this before. Like Sylvia Moreno Garcia, 5-star or 2-star. There's no real in between. I think I gave one of her short stories 4 stars, so that's an in between, but it's a short story. And I just don't jive well with short stories all the time. But I wanted to give this one a go. It says Mexico in the 1970s is a dangerous country, even for Mati, a secretary who spends her life seeking the romance found in cheap comic books and ignoring the activists protesting around the city. When her next-door neighbor, the beautiful art student Lenora, disappears under suspicious circumstances, Mati finds herself searching for the missing woman and journeying deeper into Lenora's secret life of student radicals and dissidents. Mexico in the 1970s is a politically fraught land, even for Elvis, a goon with a passion for rock and roll who knows more about kidney smashing than intrigue. When Elvis is assigned to find Leonora, he begins a blood-soaked search for the woman and his soul. So, I mean, it says hitmen, government agents, Russian spies. You know, it sounds very noir, and I do like noir stories. Typically not in books, though I haven't read very many books to verify that. I do like noir stories in movie form, so I thought, why not? Why not give it a go and see if I like it? Next, we have my purchases from Barnes & Noble, books that I am dying to get to and might even be coming up next month because there is something I'm going to be participating in that one of my friends is going to join me, at least in reading the books. Maybe not so much in the readathon, but in reading the books. I bought The Stars Undying by Emery Robin. Now, this has been on my list ever since it hit NetGalley, and I wanted to request it, but I was a little unsure because people tell me this book is slow. Why do I want this, even though people have told me that it is slow? Because it's Mark Antony and Cleopatra in space. And so I'm intrigued. I need to know. That is really all I know about this, but I have been warned this is a very slow-paced book. It is a very slow burn book, and that might be enough to make me set it aside, but I want to read it. I want to know. I've got to know. I have had a few people try and talk me out of this, saying that I won't like it, or they are unsure if I will like it, but I want to give it a try and find out because Mark Antony and Cleopatra in space just sounds like something I might want to read. This next one should surprise absolutely no one because the reason I purchased it is the author. R.J. Barker is an auto-buy author for me. I don't need to know anything else. Gods of the Weirdwood. Our lands are wild with gods. Our woods are wild with monsters. So it says, Kahan is known as the Forester, a man capable of navigating the dangerous forest of Krua like no one else. But once he was more. Once he was a warrior. Udini serves the goddess of the lost, a keeper of the small and helpless. When Udini needs to venture into the Weirdwood to find a missing child, she asks Kahan to be her guide. But in a world where land is won and lost for uncaring gods, where the forest is full of monsters, Kahan will need to choose between his past life and the one he leads now, and his choice will have consequences for his entire world. So, like I said, I don't need to know anything else beyond R.J. Barker wrote this book because, let's see. Ah, yes, there are the rest of his books right there, minus A Bone Ship's Wake, because I just finished that book not too long ago, and so I have it set aside for whenever I do my wrap-up. But I am so excited for the Forsaken trilogy. I need more R.J. Barker, always, always. He's quickly becoming, like I said, one of my favorite authors. No, he is one of my favorite authors. I have to put him in like my top 5. But I absolutely love his writing style. I love his characters. I love his world building. Everything that I look for in fantasy, he does well. So Very excited to get to this one. Okay, this one you can almost say cover by, but The Sun and the Void, minus the fact that I keep hearing about this book everywhere I turn. So not quite so much as like Fourth Wing or what have you, but I still see this one almost as often, and it says two women embark on an unforgettable quest in this sweeping fantasy debut inspired by the history and folklore of South America. Very interested in finding out some South American folklore, because I'm not sure that I know much about South American folklore. Also, this has deckled edges, which I know a lot of people hate, but I kind of love. Anyway, I keep seeing this book everywhere, and I wanted to pick it up. And then I saw who blurbed it: Melissa Caruso, Ava Reed, Tara Sim, and H.M. Long. Okay, those authors combined on the back of a book makes me think that this is going to be rich in history, rich in world building. And even though it might be a little bit character heavy, plot driven, because that's how the rest of those authors write, and it makes me very excited. Makes me very excited. Okay, so the book that many people, many people have not been able to shut up about, including Andrew's Wizardly Reads. I've actually heard this book talked about almost as much as The Sun and the Void, and almost as much as Fourth Wing. I have not seen anybody say anything bad about this book, and I know that it is a little brutal. Let's see what Andrew had to say. Stephen Aryan continues to prove why he is the true successor to David Gemmell. Brutal, compelling, and full of heart, The Judas Blossom is a masterclass in historical fantasy. I love historical fantasy. I don't read a whole lot of it lately, I will say that. But I really love like Stephen R. Lawhead, and that is an author I need to get back to. But I've been wanting to read more of them, and I have been dying to get my hands on this one. I'm very excited. Family and war collide in this thrilling and bloody reimagining of the Mongol Empire's invasion of Persia. That's where I was trying to get to. So I'm very excited to get into this. I do love historical fantasy, and I don't know what else to say about this, guys. I really don't. I'm excited. I am excited. Okay, and for one that was not on my TBR, but I got anyway because I have Fairy Loot. That would be Forged by Blood. And again, please don't ask me to say that name because I'm going to butcher it. I looked into this when I found out that it was going to be the Fairy Loot book of the month. Oh, there goes my letter from the author. And I have to say, I don't know how excited I am about this one. It sounds cool. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds cool. It's just not the type of story I tend to go for, and it does sound like it might be a little YA for my taste. But this says, they took her language, her mother, and her home. They hunt her people for the blood magic that sings through them. Now Demi has their prince and no intention of letting him go. There will be blood. Demi only wanted to survive to avoid the suspicion of the tyrannical Aegis occupying her homeland, to escape the king's brutal genocide of her people, the Oluso, and to live peacefully with her secretive mother while learning to control the blood magic that is her birthright. But survival has given way to vengeance, and betrayal has cost her mother's life, and Demi demands payment. A tale of rebellion and redemption, love and lies, forged by blood, is epic fantasy at its finest, richly steeped in Nigerian mythology. So again, the reason this has not quite hit my radar is because I'm going to have to read and find out with this one, because I don't like the African cadence of storytelling. And if this reads in that African cadence of storytelling, I probably won't like it. So we'll see. We will see. But it has nothing to do with the mythology or anything like that. It's just that cadence. My brain doesn't like it, and I end up like lost in space. But that is it for my book haul. I hope you guys have a lovely day. If you'd like to connect with me on any other platform, my Linktree link is below. Bye.